Alright, what else is going to be screwed up? Oh my god. Oh, I thought that was a hole. This is my stainless catback system here. Boiler system here, right there. Is where you can change wafers to change the sound quality of your system. But anyway, take it from me, these will increase power and they will increase your gas mileage. So there's some worthwhile investment there. I didn't put headers on this, but I wish I would have years ago, because they would have paid for themselves by now. Okay. Alright. My lower control arms. Not going in easy. Sometimes they don't. Let's see. This looks like it needs to go over some. Okay, I got just a little bit of grease smeared on here now. Some folks might say not to do that, but whatever. I like to have these things be loose and limber. In fact, I don't tighten these bolts very tight either. Keep the suspension free if you're concerned about handling. But at any rate, this is a new kind of nylon type rubber. I don't think the grease is going to hurt it. I'm going to use my rubber hammer. There's a grease fitting on the bottom of this, so I can't pound on it. It's not going in very easily. These things get pinched together, and sometimes with these new control arms, these big new control arms, they don't want to go in very easy. What am I going to do? Let's try the other side. Get some. Guess what? That one's in. Alrighty, these things have to be aligned just so. I hammered up there with my trusty plastic hammer. I got a little bit of grease on my bolt head here. I thought it might help a little. Get my screwdriver in here and see if I can move this a little more closer. The rear end seems to be a little full. See if I can go from the back side here. I can't see back there. I don't know what I'm dealing with. Started. Alright, I got it started from the back side. Let's get the old rubber mallet on it. Well, it's not going through all the way. I got the other side in. I know it's going to happen. There we go. Hopefully you saw that come through there. Alright. Okay, now both lower control arms in place. Got one bolt through that front torque arm. And yeah, this is quite a bit different than the third generation, which uses the leaf sprung rear end. This I don't know why, but for now I can put this shock through here, right through the hole. There's that. Alright, let's go do the other one. Get under here. I just want to grab this here, the sway bar. See what I have going on. I left it hooked on one side. Okay, it comes up there like that, like so. Alright. So that will have to be bolted in place and hang all of our brakes and stuff on. Alright. Oh, the other bolt fell right through. Okay. Both bolts are now through. I can start tightening things up. My drive shaft still sits up in there. Yeah, I'll go ahead and tighten up some of this stuff now, and then we'll hook up some more things. Alright, everybody knows how to tighten bolts, so I can shut the camera off for a while, and we'll get back in it in a little bit. Oh my God. I'm older than you might think. Okay, I took myself a little commercial break out there and drank some water, blew my nose. It's in the 30s out here, a little bit cold. Okay, I unhooked. Wow. Alright, I unhooked those shocks. That's why I just stuffed them in there temporarily, because now I decided I'm going to do this next. Get the spring in here. Alright, there's a top piece, goes on the big diameter. There's even a slot here, so I can put on the kind of on the top, screwed into place. Alright, there it is. As far as the bottom, small diameter fits right over that. This is down plenty. I didn't bring it down this far. Alright, that side's in. I'm going to go do the other side and then jack this thing up into place, get those shocks back on. Okay, now here's the setup. I'm reassembling this the same way as it was disassembled. Here's what we have here. We have our brakes hanging from a bungee cord with our wiring. Parking brakes all hooked up. These parking brakes on these 4th generation are not much. They're pretty wimpy things. Alright, I've got my coils up in place here, and I need to jack this up, guide those coils up in. How are we doing here? Oh yeah, they gotta be centered. How are we doing? A little more height on it. Okay, that one's up in there. Look at that, fell right in there. Okay, shocks are in place. I'm going to pull this jack back out. I'm going to get this here sway bar up into place with all my U-bolts and everything, and we'll show you all of that. Time for another commercial break, even though I have no sponsors. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and tighten down my shock now while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, not much air pressure there, but that's okay. All I have to do is plug it in. Main thing is, that little old Sears air compressor has served me for the last 35 years of my life, and it has been the best thing I've ever had. So, we get this, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the end link on the sway bar. Get that taken care of. And then we'll tighten down the clamps to the axle housing. See if I can do this without making everything fly off. Alright, let's get after these sway bar brackets. Of course, I've lubed up the threads on all this stuff. Alright. Finish it off with that. Okay, so I just get these good and tight. There's no torque spec on them. These shocks, you know, nice and tight, probably 80 foot-pounds or so. These lower control arms here, I only got about 20 foot-pounds or so on those. Just guess. I don't make them tight because I want them to be free. I want them to operate free because they're suspension components. I've never seen a nut back off of one of them. So, these here, get them good and snug. Alright, that's good. Alright, shocks tight, lower control arms, springs in. Do the other side, and then we we'll have the sway bar hooked up, and then we will do a little work on these brakes here. We've got some brake lines to line up. We've got a couple clamps they go into, like right here. Goes into a clamp right there, like so. And there's another clip over here that goes over the center section. A little bolt that holds in right in here. We'll get all that bolted up and get things ready to hook on the end. Now, just getting the last of these brake lines in place. We've got the little bolts that hold the little brackets on each side. And then there's a bolt back here in the front that holds the whole brake line block in. And you put them in their little tabs, and everything is secured, and you have it. So I'm using my little, what is it, a little 3/8, I think, on this to do these. And then I use my 21 millimeter on the shock bolts and on these long bolts that hold the torque arm on. Use my 18 millimeter socket to do the lower control arm bolts. And I'll be using those on the track arm when I put it on here too. And then get those in place, snapped in place. Alright, that's in place. Still have to do the drive shaft. We'll carefully put it in place. One cap came off, and right up here we have to put this on. So we're going to plug this in right up in here and get this hooked on right on the top right there. Take care of that. And then we have to get this drive shaft in, get the other cap on, make sure all the rollers are in it, twist it like I need to, put it in neutral, and get it hooked up to the yoke. Okay, as the light fades away, evening approaches. Take a look at what we've done here. I've got my Hotchkiss bar put in now using my 21 socket and 3/4 inch wrench on the backside. The bolts only go through these things one way. You got to get them through the proper way because one hole's smaller than the other. It's a collared bolt. So I've torqued them down only about 20 pounds or so. Again, I leave these loose because it's the suspension part. So got that in, got the drive shaft all in. We put it in good and tight, and all our brake lines and things are hooked up. So we got everything bolted back in place underneath here now. So let's get out from underneath here, and now we are looking at these rotors over here. A little bit of rust on those babies. One might be able to be done there. I've got my others right there, but so I always want to check them out. So really easy to slap those on, get the wheels and tires back on it. Okay, as darkness falls, we button this thing up, and the raindrops just start to fall. So hopefully this thing starts up. Yeah, rotation. Right on. Okay. Job done. I'm gonna get in there. I checked the level, the differential, and it had plenty of rear end gear lube in it, but that'll be replaced with some synthetic. And sometimes you might have to calibrate your speedometer. But that's all for now. I have an appointment I have to get done here.